Dishnikas Ashkigamung Donchpa, Makinak Dodam, Nishnaba Nini Down. Hi, my name is Johnny. I'm from Curve Lake First Nation. My clan is Turtle, and I'm a Nishnaba man. No gum, today we will be talking about Gindaswanan, numbers, Gindaswanan. But first, let us say a prayer. Miigwach Amijiong and Dion, Miigwach Ilmijum Amijion, Miigwach Gewip Benashiak Anagamwad, Miigwach Jimanido Kinanoch Gagon. Dominowan goes Wabanon, I am happy to see you. Dominowan goes Nishna Bamyon, I am happy to speak in Nishna Bamwin. Dominowan goes Minogishkat, I am happy it is a nice day. Amba Nagamda, let's sing. Aneen, and whack nigga, and whack nigga, and whack nigga. Aneen, and whack nigga, and whack nigga, no gum. Now we'll throw it over to Johnny with a weather report. Ani Ajwaba Kujing. What's happening outside? Ani Ajwaba Kujing. If you're outdoors, I want you to take a look at your surroundings. And if you're indoors, I want you to take a look out your window. Ani Ashwaba Kujing. I wonder what the weather is like where you're at. Nagwanquad, it's cloudy. Nagwanquad. Gunka, there's snow on the ground. Gunka. Kasina, it's cold. Kasina. Niskadad, it's gloomy. Niskadad. But I'm going to say Minogishgada as well. It's a nice day, and it's a nice day because we're together and we're discussing our language and learning something new. All right, let's count. Gindaswanan, numbers, Gindaswanan, and we are going to count from 0 to 100. In this video, we will go from 0 to 20. How? Amba, Machsara, let's get started. Kaungago, 0. Kaungago. Bajig, 1. Bajig. Nish, 2. Nish. Swe, 3. Swe. Niwin, 4. Niwin. Nanan, 5. Nanan. Gudwaswe, 6. Gudwaswe. Nishwaswe, 7. Nishwaswe. Shwaswe, 8. Shwaswe. Zhongswe, 9. Shongswe. Midaswe, 10. Midaswe. Midaswe Jabajig, 11. Midaswe Jabajig. Now here you're going to see a little bit of a repeat of a pattern. Midaswe Janij, 12. Midaswe Janij. Midaswe Jeswe, 13. Midaswe Jeswe. Midaswe Janiwin, 14. Midaswe Janiwin. Midaswe Shinanan, 15. Midaswe Shinanan. Midaswe Shigudwaswe, 16. Midaswe Shigudwaswe. Midaswe Shinijwaswe, 17. Midaswe Shinijwaswe. Midaswe Shinshwaswe, 18. Midaswe Shishwaswe. That one's a tongue twister. Midaswe Shishongswe, 19. Midaswe Shishongswe. Nishtana, 20. Nishtana. And there we have Kaugago Ga Nishtana, 0 and 20. How? Well, now that we've counted a little bit, we've gone from Kaugago 0 to Nishtana to 20. Let's learn about singular and plural when we're counting. So we'll get started here. And this guy, I'm wondering if you can tell me who this one is. Ween emotion Shnabamwin bird. Benashi. So we have a Benashi. So we're going to say Bajig Benashi, one bird, Bajig Benashi. So we have Bajig Benashi, one bird, Bajig Benashi. So singular, a bird would be Benashi. Now we have two birds, Nij Benashiug, two birds, Nij Benashiug. So we have to add that yug onto Benashi to make it birds. So Nij Benashiug. So if you have five birds, you say Nanan Benashiug, five birds. Nanan Benashiug. I hope this will help with your counting and with your singular and plurals. How? Miigwech. That'll bring us to the end of this week's video. You can use this vocabulary when you're out and about, like counting sinig, rocks, or matigog, trees. Remember to be proud of your Anishinaabemowin, whether it's 1 or 1,000 words. Use it first, use it always. Be proud to be Nishnaba. Chip P. Tanmago, you are special. Chip P. Tanmago. Kede Chinanmago, we are proud of you. Your community is proud of you. Gizagago, we love you. Your community loves you. Gizagago. How? I hope you work hard for yourself, your teachers, and your parents. Remember to do your best. Your best is good enough. Chumigwach, Wawana, Guabmen.
So we're here today to talk about how we reduce the stress of animals when they're in our care. So first off, Keitha has been with us forever, a big, huge 7 years. Unfortunately, we're going to miss Keitha when she leaves. She's going to move out of province, but she's one of our amazing cat volunteers. So how to reduce stress in the environment where they have to stay, hello, Mr. Ash, while they're waiting for their forever homes. So we do have a program called Fear Free that we do online training, and we're not doing laundry here today, but we're providing places for cats to hide. So we have a kennel that have 3 spaces. So it gives them an option where they want to stay. So that's really important to give them choice. So they now have, since we put these little portals in, they now have their own little washroom, their own little space. They have their living room, and in here is their dining room. So they have the option of what to do. So here will be their food. They can sleep in here. If they're a little bit more fearful, they have a space here. They also have a nice area where they have nice soft space, but then also a variety of different toys. So it gives them the option of feeling that they are in somewhat of control of their environment. And every day, pretty near every day when Keith is in here, she comes in and checks on them in the afternoon. She scoops their litter so it's nice and clean, but also then we start to rotate them through. So Ash is telling us that it's his turn to come out. So he will also have time out of the kennel, and he can also interact with other cats if they're cat friendly. So Keitha really gives us important information that we can spot, and Keitha's that cat whisperer that gives us the information that so-and-so likes this one or so-and-so doesn't like this one. So we're able to give them that enrichment. But just providing this new environment that we are, it really reduces their stress, gives them more space, and hopefully we're going to get them into the homes fairly quickly. But if not, at least they have a luxurious more space to stretch out in.
Well, Ash is a fantastic cat for me. He's very friendly. I'm very fond of orange cats, so that's one reason. But he's very outgoing and loves to be patted and loves to be out free. He does not like being in his cage. He just had his turn, by the way. so he thinks he should be out full time, which I don't blame him. And these guys, they're all very lovely cats. I assume they came in together because it's Cedar No, that's pine, cedar, and oak. And they're all very friendly too. This one is super friendly. He escaped this morning on me and ended up in the main lobby. Doesn't like to be picked up, mind you, because he squirmed and wormed. But yeah, they're all very nice. I'm also fond of the tuxedo cats. They're always quite easygoing and friendly little guys. So,
And then you've got
just gives them a spot to hide if they're nervous, especially when they first come. Like those cats there, they just came in, I think maybe Friday, and last Friday, and they're hiding. If their cages are open, they can come out, but they're too nervous yet to come out. So this gives them that safe feeling of safety.
Most importantly, our focus every day is how do we get them into homes. So one example is lovely volunteers who come in, work with the animals, bring them out of their shells. But also, when we have potential adopters and families, they really spend a lot of time with those families. And a lot of times, Keitha or other volunteers know the cats intimately. So that's an important piece. Volunteers are our core. We couldn't exist without them. So we're so happy to have folks like Keitha. But also, we have programs. So we have folks coming through and wanting to visit the cats, wanting to visit the dogs. But we also have our friends in the community, PetSmart in Peterborough, and also Pet Value in Lindsay, and also in Bob Cajun, who help us on the occasion to have animals and cats out into the community where there's more foot traffic. So we really hurry up, and like we saw Storm today, we noted that he needed to have his neuter and some vaccines. So we get those done as soon as possible because we want to get them out into the community so they can see more potential families and get them home. We also have a really amazing photographers that come in and help us just to capture some of the essence and the personalities of the cats and dogs. That helps us. So social media and adoption satellite programs, they really help getting animals into their homes. So if you're seeing somebody like Ash or Pine or anyone that you're looking at and you see it on social media, please give them a share because it really, really does help. Sharing is caring. So thank you to the Kawartha Lakes and everyone in the community who has been helping us get these animals into homes, whether volunteers like Keitha or sponsors, donators, anybody that's supporting us, and also our friends on social media. So first off, hit our website that has all the animals that are available for adoption. It's updated immediately and in real time, so best to check it out there. Also our LinkedIn, we're on LinkedIn now. We're also on Instagram, and we're also on Facebook, of course. So please TikTok, you are right. We're on TikTok as well. So make sure to hit those channels up. Sharing is caring. If you see somebody that you just want to get into a home, please share.
Welcome to Kawartha Land Trust Cation Wildlife Preserve. Today we're celebrating Black excellence in conservation here at the Cation Wildlife Preserve trails, which are over 600 acres donated by David and Sharon Cation, located just near Cobeconk, Ontario. Kawartha Land Trust is a land conservation-based charity working within the Kawarthas. We protect over 5,000 acres of natural and working lands, and that's in large part due to our volunteers, donors, and supporters. We're excited to welcome you here to our third annual Black History Month hike. It's part of our Passport to Nature series, which offers free events throughout the year with the goal of encouraging people to connect with nature. And we're really excited to be partnering with Diverse Nature Collective. As we walk through this beautiful wintry wonderland, we're going to reflect on Black excellence in conservation. And now I'd like to introduce Patricia Wilson, an incredibly passionate environmentalist and community connector and leader and founder of the Diverse Nature Collective.
Like, I've never loved like you. Okay. And I said, and you never will? Yeah. Yes, that's right. So I said, I know what I offer, and you're not even worth it. So yes. And you want me to do
So something as serious as climate change and the effects, there have been a lot of studies that have been done to show that racialized community members are disproportionately affected by the effects of climate change, right? They're more impacted. So racialized communities are more impacted by the effects of climate change. And yet we're not hearing from these voices, these communities who are more greatly impacted. And we are already seeing the effects of climate change. I mean, it's February and I'm not too layered up. We don't really have a lot of snow on the ground. So, you know, we're seeing some of these really adverse effects. Something that I found really eye-opening for myself was that over the last few years, I had to do a lot of unlearning and a lot of learning, and a lot of individuals who I've met, who I've worked with, you know, a lot of people who I've connected with haven't been mentioned in the textbooks, you know, haven't been mentioned in school. I went to school for conservation biology. I went to college for ecosystem management, and I never heard about, you know, Black contributions, really. I actually really don't ever hear about, you know, Indigenous or racialized folks' a contribution to the sector. Why do you think that might be? Why do you think it might be hard for some of you to recall some names, some racialized folks?
And for so long, white males dominated.
Absolutely. So for so long, it's been white male dominated. For so long, you didn't see that representation. You're thinking there might be a smaller ratio of racialized folks, perhaps. Interesting thought. Yeah. Around the civil rights movement is when the environmental movement really kicked off. And it was because racialized folks, in particular Black people, were protesting for their rights to not have toxic waste sites put in their communities, right? They were fighting a lot of injustices, both like racially, but also racial discrimination, but also environmentally as well. So someone who comes to mind and is regarded as the father of environmental justice is Dr. Robert Bullard. He's been working in the field since 1978. He's written over 18 books and publications, and he was one of the planners for the first National Association for Colored People Leadership Summits, which happened in 1991, where they actually developed the organizing principles of modern day environmental justice. So that's pretty huge contribution and something that not a lot of people know about or talk about. Similar to him, the mother of environmental justice is Hazel Johnson, and she was dedicated to researching environmental issues within her own community, Alt Gardens in the States, and connecting industrial pollutants in the air, in the waters, and on the landscape to the negative health impacts that were happening in her community. And so she did a lot of advocacy work to hold these companies accountable for the toxic waste that was dumped in her communities and the detrimental health effects that were happening in her community. And she educated her community, helped them to name what was happening and why there were so many high rates of cancer and other illnesses happening within her community. And so she, you know, she had done a ton of work in that. And then probably one of my favorite folks is Dr. Benjamin Chavez, and he actually coined the term environmental racism. Has anyone here heard of the term environmental racism? The murder of George Floyd really started this movement again of you know, Black people being unfairly policed, being unfairly accosted or questioned when they're out in nature. And so we've seen a lot of advocacy around that now because of you know, these examples really highlighting Black individuals being over-policed, right? And being questioned all the time. And so something that was happening a lot during the pandemic, I'm sure all of you as well, we were like bored out of our minds. We're at home, we're stuck, we're isolated, we're scared. We wanted to go outside in nature. So the parks were packed. I don't know, did anyone go to an Ontario park or a provincial park? Yeah, over COVID, it was packed. There was a lot of people. And the park saw a lot of new users to the park, which is really great. You know, we want people to connect with nature and get excited about it. But there was also a lot of issues of like over-policing, specifically of Black and other racialized people well-being within these parks, right? By the staff, by security, by other members there questioning why are you here, or telling them they're not wearing the proper footwear, or they're not recreating in the way that maybe they recreate, right? So questioning. And so we do experience that a lot out in nature. And I think that's one of the biggest barriers that Black folks face, or other racialized folks face, when trying to recreate and connect with nature. It's why I do the work that I do, because I want to create safe spaces for folks to come together, to be able to connect with nature and not feel like they're going to be unsafe or if they're going to be harmed. It looks like it's so exposed right now because there's no like foliage, right? But like this guy is so hidden back here. What do we got? How many total? You guys count? 11?
I overshot.
No. Wow. I deliberately spoke a lot about American perspectives when it comes to the environmental movement, when it comes to civil rights activists and environmental racism. But it's something that is not really talked a lot about in Canada. Do you know why that actually might be? That's right. Yes, that's right. Yes, yeah, this is safety. We were the refuge here, but we actually also actively participated in the slave trade, right? So that existed in Canada. That is something that happened for before we became that area where folks were fleeing to. We actively participated, and even after the abolishment of slavery, through indentured servitude, we also perpetuated that here in Canada. But I think it was very revolutionary, a really huge and fundamental project that Dr. Ingrid Waldron did, because we were actually able to map out and see it, here in Canada. And it still shocks people to this day, and still a lot of people don't know about the first Black settlement in Nova Scotia. They don't know about Dr. Ingrid Waldron or that project, but she went on to found a couple of different nonprofits, one of which was helping rural communities being able to test their own water, because they can't trust the government to test their water. The government's like, oh yeah, we tested it, it's fine. So having people being able to access the tools to test their water in an affordable way so that they can actually prove, yeah, no, my water is contaminated. I'll talk a little bit about Diverse Nature Collective and the work that I do, because I think this is a nice segue. So I am a small business that works to promote diversity in the outdoors. I do a lot of consulting work with environmental organizations, nonprofits, to promote diversity and inclusion, justice, equity, and inclusion within the environmental sector. So folks come to me to consult. I've led speaking engagements. I've done workshops on anti-racism and anti-oppression, and tried to come up with solutions for ways that folks can connect better with the community. So I've also had people hire me to do event coordinating and facilitating. That's one of my strengths, but doing it through an intersectional and equity-focused lens, so that I can help organizations build positive and meaningful relationships with diverse communities, to build that trust, to bring people out into the outdoors. So a lot of the stuff that I do really is to bring racialized folks together in the outdoors. It's very much so BIPOC-centered spaces. And my first event was, I guess, February 2021, and it was an introduction to cross-country skiing and snowshoes. We did it up at Camp Kawartha, and I was so nervous. I was like, oh, I don't know, I hope people like this. And it was sold out. Over 40 people showed up, and I was mind blown, because it wasn't just people in the Kawarthas. People drove all the way from Toronto to be here. They carpooled so they can come here. I had people from all over, come to this event, because it meant so much to be in community with other people that looked like them. I had international students there. I had folks. It was really great diversity in terms of age. I had students, international students. I had folks that were retired there as well, and they're just talking and sharing their stories with me. I had one gentleman that said, wow, this is my first time, I'm 60 years old, this is my first time being with so many Black people and other folks that look like me in the outdoors. And I've always recreated in the outdoors. Then there were people who had never recreated in the outdoors before and had been nervous but didn't have friends to do it with. I had international students tell me that they thought they didn't like nature. They thought it wasn't for them. They hated it, didn't like it, and didn't realize that actually could be so much fun when you're recreating with people that look like you, and then you feel safe. You could put those walls down. right? So it's very, very important to have these spaces for racialized people, for Black folks, to be able to come together, to feel safe, to share knowledge in the outdoors. It truly does mean a lot to be surrounded by community and to be celebrating Black History Month with y'all. So thank you. Thanks again, guys.
Thank you for joining us on this hike at Kawartha Land Trust Cation Wildlife Preserve. A big thank you to Patricia Wilson, the founder of Diverse Nature Collective. If you'd like to learn more about her organization and what she does, you can find her at diversenaturecollective.com. To learn more about Kawartha Land Trust and how you can help to protect and conserve natural and working lands in the Kawarthas, visit our website at kawarthalandtrust.org. You can find out lots more information about our public access trails. We encourage you to get out there, connect with nature, and above all else, continue to learn.